to Chosen, Discovering the Life of True Parents and Their Impact on the World. No matter what you've had to do to adjust your schedule to be with us here now, you're in the right place. Thank you for being here. Glad you made it. During this 21-day docu-series, we will be exploring the lives of our true parents who are, without a doubt, the most faithful couple in the world. If you've never heard of true parents before, don't worry. Let me put it this way. I know of no other couple in human history that has impacted every nation and every sector of society, let alone in such a small amount of time. How did this mission, from such humble beginnings, in just a few years, span the entire globe to become a worldwide movement? Stick with us over the next few days and you will find out. In yesterday's show, we took a journey to Japan. We heard a moving message from Reverend Tokuno, the current president of the movement there. And he described the deep emotional relationship between true parents and Japan. Thank you, Reverend Tokuno. I have been receiving messages from our viewers telling me that they wept throughout the entire show. One of our Japanese sisters here actually told me like this. She said, "This is so amazing. I feel like you're letting us just taste the candy and I want more. I want more." This Japanese sister reminded me of some of my Italian aunties. She was so excited about it. So really, I feel together on this journey, we are touching some very important hearts. And Reverend Tokuno, thank you so much. Your message moved all of us. Now, if some of you missed the show, don't worry. You can sign up for lifetime access as well as bonus content by clicking the button below. Now for our featured story.
All right, we're going back to Damien in 3, 2, 1, live.
We're here, continuing our journey around the world to relish in the footsteps of True Parents' incredible mission to save humanity. Question: have you ever been to Europe? Many of us have romantic notions about what Europe is like, right? With its various languages, cultures, delicious foods, and super intelligent sounding people. But Christianity and its role in Europe has been at the center of God's providence. This is really what has shaped the European people and their various cultures. If you're interested to find out more about how True Parents came upon that foundation to work there and the incredible faith of our European church members, you're in luck. Just moments ago, I met with Dr. Balcom, who we all know and miss as the former president of the church here in USA. Now, he is serving as the regional group chair to 72 nations centered on Europe. And he personally selected a handful of stories and European leaders to share with us today. Today's feature story is titled, Europe, the Color of Faith Within the Palette of Many Cultures. Please enjoy.
As I was thinking about how to introduce True Parents and their work in Europe for 55 years, I turned to the Champomigyong, one of my favorite books, and there on page 623, True Father describes his emotions as he's flying to London for the first time. He's just been in Spain, and he's on the world tour to establish holy ground. For those of you not familiar with holy grounds, True Father brought with him rocks and stones from Korea and traveled around the world to plant a little part of the homeland in every nation as a place where people could pray. And he said, I wait with wonder and expectation about my visit to London. I look forward to meeting Young Eun Kim, who's the first missionary I believe she's bringing several new members to meet with me. And he said, as the plane crosses the Straits of Dover, I think about the history of God in Britain. I can't wait to arrive. And I love that image of a true father longing to come to Great Britain. Actually, in the 60s and the 1970s, true father and mother came to Europe and particularly to Britain very, very often. In 1969, they came back and held the blessing of the first elder couples of Europe, who later on went to pioneer in America. In 1973, he held what was only the second ICUS conference of scientists in London, including many Nobel Prize winners, members of the House of Lords. It was a tremendous success. And in 1978, True Father came for a 4-month period to London. Really, he was a force of nature in those days, still in his 50s, full of energy and power. And he brought with him a new idea of how to save Europe. He knew that the traditional churches were in decline. He saw many empty churches and cathedrals, and he came up with the idea of home church. Today, with the COVID-19 crisis, we're all doing home church. We're all worshiping at home. But back then, it was completely new. And he sent the membership out to the streets of London and beyond to knock on doors and to introduce to people this new idea of the divine principle and to ask them, come, hear about this new message from the East. It was a tremendously inspiring time, but it wasn't just talk. Within a week of arriving, True Father held the first blessing of 118 couples in our headquarters in London. It was such an important event, and when you look at the brothers and sisters' faces, many of them meeting True Father for the first time, they were just so overjoyed to have this personal encounter with Father, because we'd heard about him in America. We'd seen pictures and film, but in those days, there was no internet, there was no live feed, so everything that we had heard was days, weeks, even months old. And to see Father in the flesh, and to hear directly from him his powerful vision of how Christianity was going to unite, how all the religions of the world were going to come together, and how home by home a nation could be transformed. It was an amazing thing. Father brought over the seminarians from New York, and by the time he left in September, I could say that the United Kingdom was really buzzing with energy. But after that, we ran into some problems in England, right? It's no secret that the media started to work against True Parents. There was a major court case, and eventually even the charity status of our movement in Britain was compromised and lost for several years. And the focus moved on to mainland Europe, and particularly to Germany. And for me, Germany is perhaps the place where my life changed out of True Parents the most, because it was there in Camberg, Germany, our central workshop site, that I was matched and blessed by True Father. And that's where I met my lovely wife, Fumiko, as well. Germany became an intense focus of True Parents' work throughout Europe. Of course, it was divided then between East and West. It was the front line in the fight against communism. There were great activities on the German campuses, but you know what? Someone better than me to introduce that story, my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Dieter Schmidt.
I just want to share very shortly one incident to make understand why this fight against communism, you pointed out already, was possible for me. When I joined, I was really looking for God, and I really wanted to understand his heart, especially as I felt God was a lonely God, and finding the divine principle gave to me a rebirth. It really happened like it is said in the Bible. I felt like a new person, and I was so inspired that I was jumping up and down in my car because I realized the Messiah is alive. And that gave me incredible strength. And it was my first encounter in Washington Monument that I could see Father. And when I came back from Washington Monument after this incredible rally in America, I was very quickly appointed to be the CARP leader in Germany. Well, CARP is the student organization our True Father has started with the mission especially to fight communism, to bring victory over communism. So from this beautiful understanding to love one another, to love brothers and sisters, we were suddenly thrown into a very hard fight. And this was first in Frankfurt. Frankfurt at that time was really the hotspot for the ideological battle. It was the school of Habermas and other very important professors, you know, bringing out the new form of communism. So when we started there, we were told to make a counter proposal. In fact, we had every day a new leaflet. And can you believe or not, we had to bring out that leaflet under the protection of the police. We were attacked by the communists. We were thrown in the bushes. Our life was threatened. Even they were attacked by knives. But somehow we never gave up. Why didn't we give up? Because our heavenly parent, and especially true Father, has given us that spirit. We have to be very serious to fight communism. It is the time when communism was so strong in Europe that there was almost nobody anymore who would directly counter the communist ideology. So I could meet Father again in Korea, and I never forget when he came down in this hall, in that time it was Hanwang-dong, and he came down and he had not even sat down and he shouted already, "So what's the matter with the German car?" And my heart was almost frozen because I got a shock. I thought it was my first leaders meeting with true Father. And then he had us stand up and report about CARP, and he felt we were not strong enough. So he shouted at me, "You are not strong enough, and you are too young, but you have to save Germany." I can never forget these words when Father shouted that at me. And then he asked us to make a rally every day. So when we came back to Germany, we realized we have to go to Berlin. This is really the main area of confrontation. This is the line between the communist and the democratic world. So we started to have our headquarters of CARP in Berlin, and together with the help of our American Blue Tuna Band, you might have heard about them, they came from the American CARP, we then hold a rally every day all over the Berlin area and gave an alternative to communism. And we were preaching that this border, this Iron Curtain, will never last forever, because it is God's absolute will that Germany will be united again. This whole thing basically then ended in the Berlin CARP Convention. The CARP has become a worldwide organization, and together with Eugenim, the eldest son of two parents, he became the president of the World CARP. And then the two parents sent him to be our host at the Berlin CARP Convention.
God is a living God. God that dwells intelligence, emotion, and truth and heart. Most important, in the essence of that lies true love. We must bring the essence of our human nature together. The love of God, parental love of God, always flow down. It's a vertical love. It's always flowing down. The horizontal love, that is our responsibility. We change, not God. God never changed. Love of parents never changed. The sons and daughters, their love for their parents changed. We must realize this. This is very important. In order for us to unite East and West together, we must unite within our parents. We must unite with our God. God is living. Inside God dwells a artistic human essence that is so important to us. That is so important to the rest of the world. That only through that can unite, and only through that world can come together. Only through that this wall can break down. Through that
This became really an incredible fight. All the political parties had united against us to stop the Berlin CARP Convention. Over 460 news articles were printed, all with the goal to stop us. But because it was against the law, the German law, with the help of a lawyer, we could overturn this and we could win. And with the protection of the police, we finally could hold our Berlin Cup Convention. And it was a fight. The communists came, they had mass, they burned our cars, they stabbed brothers and sisters, but we overcame all of this. And you will see, together with Joachim, we went to the Berlin Wall and we were shouting and praying that this Berlin Wall come down and that we will overcome communism. Because there's one more important thing True Father has taught us, not just to be against the godless communism, but to love the communist people. So with that love, we had sent from Germany and Austria and other places, you will hear in another time, people to go in the former East European countries to do underground missions. So from there, we are now happy that this wall came down, and to end, I like to say the most beautiful event became when two parents came back in 2011, and together with two parents, I could walk with them from former East Berlin to West Berlin, shouting and bringing two parents to the open Brandenburg Gate. This was such a wonderful moment for all of us. And we are so grateful that two parents gave us the courage, gave us the strength to fight against communism in a time when it was very serious, that we could overcome and we could live up and bring the freedom of democracy with the new truths of the divine principle.
Thank you very much, Dieter. And this story ends with the fall of the Berlin Wall back in 1990. And that very same year, Eva Petowski was born in the Czech Republic. And she's therefore exactly the same age as this new free democratic republic. And today she serves as our national director and senior pastor. She is a concert violinist, a young mother, and she's going to share a little bit about what it's like today, bringing True Parents' message in the middle and the heart of Europe. Over to you, Eva.
When I was born, Czech Republic was already free. The Berlin Wall fell down. It was November '89, and just a couple of days after, it came to Czech Republic as well. So we are a former East European or Soviet Union country, and we are a country of amazing brothers and sisters who also sacrificed themselves for the mission, for serving True Parents. Many of them went to prison. We are a country of Maria Živná, who is one of the martyrs of our movement. And but when I was born, the Czech Republic was already free. I always knew there is God. I always knew there is Heavenly Parent since I was a child. When I joined and I heard the Divine Principle workshop, I was 16 at the time. The lecturer was surprised that I knew all the Bible stories. But it is true that it is a bit tough to witness here, in a sense like the word God is connected strongly with institution and with rituals, and that's what Czech people don't like. So, but yeah, we go on. We have witnessing activities and many youth activities going on. And in fact, my husband is a witnessing leader, and now during the Corona times, he has 2-3 Zoom studies, Zoom Divine Principle studies with guests a day. So there is hope, even in Czech.
Thank you very much, Eva. Maybe I could just ask you, I know you're a wonderful concert violinist and you've had some experience playing with your mother in Vienna and elsewhere. Could you just share for a minute about that experience?
I had a chance to open the festival on the stadium in the Peace World Center with Seiko Lee. And we played, in fact, a Czech piece, Rusalka by Antonín Dvořák. I had such a deep experience playing for True Mother, and in that moment when I played, I felt like the Heavenly Kingdom is already here.
Thank you very much, Eva, and congratulations again. I'd like now to take a look at another country that used to be behind the Iron Curtain. In fact, during the communist days, Albania was really considered the North Korea of Europe. It was one of the nations that suffered the most. But God is very fair, and today I can say that Albania is the country that true parents have loved the most. And in fact, True Mother was there just a few months ago in Albania, and she declared it a heavenly Albania. She gave Albania a mission to serve the rest of Europe. And we have a wonderful young couple from Albania, Matteo and Melinda Zico. And Matteo is our webmaster, and he's going to talk a little bit about another project. But first of all, Melinda, you organized a tremendous youth rally when True Mother came to Albania in November. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to welcome True Mother back to your country.
2019, True Mother visited my country, and in that time, I was responsibility and for taking care and for organizing YSP. Still, I have emotion sharing this activity, but just I remember when the day came and I was MC and I went at the stage and I saw actually the hall full of people. I just wanted to cry, but I don't know what happened. Some happiness came at me, and I can share confidently that it was the most confident day of my life until now. It was an amazing experience, and of course, these young people that attend, now we need to educate and to take care for them. But just at that time, I truly was happy that we did it. True parents did it, because maybe they truly saw our desire, not just my desire, but young Albanian desires of honoring true parents. And I'm so glad, actually, I was part of the team that we organized this amazing activity. And
actually, that was a tremendous few days with True Mother in Albania, because she held the Balkan Peace Summit. It was supported by the Albanian government, and the heads of state of two of the neighboring countries came to welcome True Mother, spoke together on the stage. And also the next day, we held the national level blessing, and True Mother gave this beautiful blessing to all the people in the hall and to 12,000 others who've been attending our programs throughout the year. And she gave Albania the title Heavenly Albania. She said, you know, Albanians may worry that you still aren't part of the European Union, but I want to tell you to set your sights higher than that. God has a plan for Albania to be a bridge between Europe and the Middle East. And when you live for the sake of others, then your nation will prosper. The president's wife, Monica Priamadi, was there in the audience. She gave a congratulatory speech. She gave a beautiful gift to True Mother on behalf of the Albanian people. And it was really a very happy and great moment. And it's our first restored nation in Europe. Well, sitting next to Melinda is her handsome husband, Matteo. And we had planned this year, 2020, to cover Europe with live exhibitions of the True Parents Centenary and Holy Wedding. And the lockdown came, and we can't do anything outside. So we have turned our attention to an internet outreach, telling the world the story about True Parents. And to introduce that a little bit, let me welcome the webmaster of Sun Myung Moon 100, smm100.org, Matteo Zico.
Hello everyone, thank you Dr. Balcom. So the story of this centenary project, let's say, started back in October, again when True Mother came to Albania last year. And we thought to prepare an exhibition, a special exhibition for the centenary anniversary of True Father. Coronavirus came and we had to go virtual. So finally, we thought to establish this website called smm100.org or the legacyoflove.org. And in this website, it is presented the life and work of True Parents. And also, we wanted to celebrate also the diamond anniversary of True Parents, Father and Mother Moon. They had this year the 60th anniversary of their wedding. We wanted to show to people what True Parents are doing right now And of course, we know that the work of True Parents is huge, but we thought to just maybe introduce few of the projects or organizations that True Parents established. We'll also testimonies from different VIPs around the world, and especially around Europe. We were focused a little bit more. It's very interesting. We are grateful to the technology today for having this opportunity.
Well, I also want to bring in from Paris, Victor Regnez. Victor is a recent graduate of the Universal Peace Academy, one of True Mother's signature programs. And now he's come back to Europe to work with UPF and also the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace. But he's also developing our YouTube channel to tell the story of True Parents. So over to you, Victor.
So, as Dr. Balcom said, I actually went to Korea to attend the Universal Peace Academy, which is a university created by True Mother. So it's not easy actually to do that. We need 4 years to do that. First, we have to learn Korean, and after we have to study for 2 years in a master degree. And just after that, we have an internship. And during this internship of 2 years, I spent a lot of time traveling throughout the world to help organizing the events of Universal Peace Federation, the International Summit. I'm sure some of you attended this event, and also the Holy Blessing Festival from the Family Federation, but also the rallies of YSP, Youth and Students for Peace. After all this very amazing adventure, I came back to Europe because True Mother sent me here. I'm very happy to come back to my hometown and helping my beloved continent. So my main mission now is to help actually for the project, the Centenary Project. And as you know, because we cannot do so much physically, we have to work on the online, on the internet. That's why I was trying to develop first a YouTube channel where we can actually gather all the very nice videos about True Parents and try to promote the amazing life of our True Father, but also of our True Mother. True Mother is still with us, fortunately, and we want to really use this opportunity to work online to make the best and bring the best results for the future. So I started to work on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and you write Sun Myung Moon Centenary, you can find the YouTube channel. We have until now 28 videos. Some of them are in French, most of them are in English. But we also present in 8 videos the life course of True Parents. So we're also working with other second generation in Europe to develop more videos and be more creative in order to reach to more people. So I'm also working with IOYSP. I'm managing a team of 20 people from all around Europe and Middle East. And even if I'm not very good actually in social media, I'm learning from them, and I try to give them all the love that I received from True Mother in Korea. So we're all developing this new channel, and very soon we're gonna put all these resources on internet and reach a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you very much, Victor. And finally, I'd like to call on my friend and sister, Sally Ann Franklin. Now, Sally Ann is originally from South Africa, but she's moved to the United Kingdom. What are some of the challenges that you've noticed in trying to introduce people to the life and work of True Parents? I think we're finding that compared to the past, they're relatively unknown, isn't that right?
What I think is very interesting about Europe is to imagine Europe really from top of the mountains and look down on a huge stretch of land, but which is very chopped up with a lot of different people who, a lot of centuries ago, they were tribal people. They've got very different ideas, they're coming from very different backgrounds. And then at one time in history, this whole stretch was unified by Christianity. And this is the bedrock really of Europe. And the important thing right now, I think, is to think of those people who have never heard anything about us. The majority of people in Europe nowadays are not very into God. What Eva said about Czech Republic, they might be perhaps on one end of the scale. However, Europe has become very materialistic. And I think what it really means is that you need to offer what you're offering in a different way. I definitely think that online is the way to go, even though I'm no online buff. But you find odd things on the internet which you pick up, which you look at. I think people are interested to get something new. There's a big sense in Europe that we've gone a certain distance historically. We have all come together in one big area now. But where's it going from here? There's a big sense amongst European people that we've tried so many different things. Western people have tried so many different things. And especially as you get a bit older, you start to really recognize that things are going round in circles. It is a challenge for every person, personally, I think. For me, in the spiritual life, if you ask me what are the challenges, well, I'm the challenge. Everybody is the challenge. If you don't recognize that you are the challenge, then you really need to look in your spiritual life. When you recognize that you're the challenge, then you're moving forward. And that's what people recognize about you. So what I feel so passionate about is to see people grab onto something much, much deeper with which the true parents are offering, much deeper than anybody else is offering. And if you can embody that, people will latch onto it. They like it. If you've got the technology, that's going to help them hugely. But you have to have that personal, that depth, that emotional integration with yourself, that love, that knowledge of true parents, what they have done for you. For me, that's the secret.
Thank you very much, Sally Ann, and thank you to all the team. I'd just like to finish by sharing one story of what True Mother said to me as she was about to leave Albania in November. We'd had a wonderful time, and she had declared the heavenly Albania. But as she was leaving at the airport, she said, don't stop. I never want to stop with one victory on one day. I have a vision of Europe leading the world once again. True Mothers often taught about the failures and the mistakes of Christianity. And you might think that that's the whole story, but it's not. Actually, True Mother loves Christianity, and she's particularly concerned about European Christianity. She knows well the stories of all the saints of France, of Portugal, all the people who took the gospel out to the world. She reminds us that sometimes we didn't live up to the life of Jesus, who did, but she has a vision that Europe will in fact play the role that God wants it to play, to bring the mature kingdom of God to the earth. There are modern day saints now, she said. Don't think that the golden years of religion and Christianity are in the past. They're not. They're right here, right now. And I expect you and everybody to get out there and to build the holy community of God, the place where God can dwell. Europe should lead the way.
Thank you, Dr. Balcom. What a wonderful journey you've taken us on through each of these nations. And, Sally Ann mentioned about, she painted a picture of this history of Europe, these different tribes, vying for land and vying for their own means. And finally, really Christianity being the element that is the undertone of what we have as the entire European story and each nation. So, and we also heard earlier from Eva how, where we might think certain nations and certain people's atheist or atheistic leanings, it tends to be often the attitude more towards the institutions that claim the mantle of the heavenly word or the word of God, not necessarily Christian ideals. And so it's so deeply rooted in Europe. How do you guys see right now the picture of Europe and what impact what Mother is doing could have with the Heavenly Parent Holy Community?
Thank you, Damien. Actually, just this last Sunday, we held our regional Sunday service to launch the Heavenly Parents Holy Community in Europe. We had about 10,000 people involved. That's one of our biggest virtual programs. And we invited people from actually many faiths to join us. Of course, there were Christians, but also Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, because all these religions are living together peacefully in Europe. And actually, many of them have highly developed ideas of the community of believers, the community of faith. And so we were inspired and interested to hear about how other faiths are working for the same goal. And, you know, Europe has been in the past a battleground, but now our nations are working together. And we are particularly interested to see how Christian pastors and other religious leaders can take the lead. And Peter is working with a number of them after the Prudential rally in New Jersey to keep that flame alive. Maybe, Dieter, you'd like to say something about that.
Yeah, it is true. Europe is a birthplace of, we would say, Abel and Cain ideologies and religious reformations. So we have both, and that makes it quite intense to bring a new feeling about God. But I think two things I have really hope. First is a new understanding about God. God is also being not just the father, also the mother. This is a revolution, especially for Christian understanding. That's the first thing. And the second, we have to understand, if we want to have the heavenly parent, holy community, which should embrace all mankind, and it is the truth that each person in this world is a child of God, we have to understand why people do not believe in God and what made them lose their faith in God. So there are a lot of wounds in the history, especially in Europe, a lot of misuse in churches, a lot of disappointments. So we have to restore faith, we have to restore trust, and we have to make clear that God wants to open a new history and that things, you know, are new, and we had not the full picture of God yet. With that, I have hope, and if we have the big enough heart to love all the ones who are maybe not completely aligned, we will win in the end.
So maybe, Damien, on that note, I'll pass back to you in America. We look forward to seeing anyone who'd like to come here to any one of our 72 nations. There's something going on almost everywhere. And we're just grateful to God and True Parents to be able to have this tremendous task to bring the life-changing truth of the divine principle, the family-saving ideology of the blessing to the whole world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Balcom and team, for sharing some of the history, as well as the current events going on right now, centering on True Parents in Europe. We're really grateful to all of you for your time and honored to welcome you to the show. And we send all of our love to the blessed families over there in Europe. We love you, we miss you, and thank you for coming on. And now, to share more on the deep root of faith in the European mission, let's get ready to welcome our special guest.
Okay,
Welcome to the show. Today, we have a very, very special guest, so much so that we're going to dedicate the entire segment to her. This is Mrs. Gertrude Koch, the wife of Peter Koch, who is the first pioneer of the European Church. Gertrude herself is an early member, joined in 1966 in Frankfurt, Germany, and now she's living in Washington, in the city of Seattle. Mrs. Koch, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I greet everybody.
It's great to see you.
So we are going back to the roots.
Going back to the roots. And a quick reminder for all you guys watching live, remember to leave a comment, offer your encouragement and your reflection for any part of the show that moves your heart. So you might even make it into the special comments section in just a few moments. Mrs. Koch, you were blessed to Peter in 1969. There are probably lots of people watching right now who know about him, perhaps many who don't know about him. Like yourself, he was born in Germany, but ended up meeting the movement in San Francisco in 1962. And I was discussing with you earlier this idea of 1962. I mean, just to put this into perspective, True Mother is 18 years old at this point. And amazing. So he returned to Germany after joining a little while later in 1963. And Peter was actually the very first pioneer to Europe, correct? He was, you could say he's the father, the spiritual father of the European church.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great place to start. Would you tell us a little bit about how your husband and his early walk of faith led to meeting true parents?
Yeah, so he was born in Germany in 1927, and he was also, when he was 15 years old, he had to join actually already the army to protect his hometown, and then later on he went to the Russian front,
The
Eastern Front, and then he came back from the war when he was 18 years old.
Wow.
And then he could not study in Germany. He had a very simple education, and at the end he was working for the British Army, so he learned English very well. And they told him, why don't you go to America to study there? And so he took that, he was honest about that, and his sister was already in America, and he had an uncle in New York, so he could live with. And so he came to New York when he was 1954, and then he was working first on the Wall Street in order to make money so that he could study. And then his sister found actually the university in California. She stayed in San Francisco, so she found the University of Berkeley, and he started to study there. So then he was searching already. He was searching also because his father didn't come back from war, and he was searching actually in spiritual churches to find out if his father is still alive or not. And through this, also his sister organized a party with many guests. He went there, and there he met actually a German girl, Ursula Schumann is her name. And in the beginning, they talked a little bit together, and then she mentioned to him, oh, you know, the Messiah is on earth. And then he was thinking, he said, okay, I have to find out if this is the truth. If this is true, then this will change the whole world. So he was very serious about that. And so then first he could not come again to really study the theology or the ideology of our movement. But he said, I will come back when I have time. So he came back the beginning of January 1962, and he heard a tape of 2 hours. And in these 2 hours, he actually heard the whole principle. And he said, okay, I will think about it, and you will hear from me. And they thought, okay, this will be the end. But the next day he called the leader, that was Dr. Yang-Eun Kim, and he told her, okay, I accept this, and I will change my life, and I will prepare myself to go as a missionary to Europe, to Germany.
Incredible. Incredible. I heard that he made many conditions, ardent conditions, spiritual conditions, and prayers in his life of faith as an early pioneer. Does
Yes.
anything come to mind you'd like to share?
Yeah, so he started immediately then actually to witness. So he found already his 3 followers before he went back to Germany. Also his sister accepted the divine principles, and then also he had spiritual experiences. Also he experienced that his father is not alive anymore. And then he experienced also that it was a vision, I think. It was told to him, if you go back to Germany, to Europe, you will die. And the same experience had actually also Dr. Yang-Eun Kim. So then they both talked about it, and they both made conditions, prayer conditions, and also other conditions. And my husband said, okay, I will go anyhow. So then he prepared himself, and he didn't meet true parents directly, so only through Dr. Yang-Eun Kim. And so then he was sent And I heard just recently that he left America the 22nd of May, 1963, and he arrived the 11th of June in 1963 in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And this is for him actually personally the beginning of his mission in Europe. And he could do that, he said, only because of the support of two parents and God, actually. Otherwise, he could not have done this, because such a big mission, this was, for him, this was clear that if he takes on this mission, that will cost a lot of sacrifice. But he was prepared for that.
I heard about a story where he made a walking condition.
Yes, that was actually then when he wanted to start his spiritual mission, before he was living with a mother in the hometown Münster, and he wanted to start in Heidelberg. So he decided to walk to Heidelberg. And this is like 360 kilometers by just walking. And he did that. He started, I think it was October, it was already autumn. And after the first 40 kilometers, he recognized that he has blisters on his feet, and it was quite painful. Then he thought he will go back. He will take the train and go back. And
thought he might not be able to do it. He thought he might have to finish early.
Yeah, but then the night he had a dream, or two father came to him, and he said, "That is nothing. If I think, what he went through in his life. So go on, please go on. Go forward." So he decided, okay, he will go forward. He wanted to do it actually in 12 days, but then later on it turned out it was 21 days when he arrived in Heidelberg. And when he arrived...
Kilometers?
360.
360 kilometers. And when he arrived?
The church bells were ringing. The church bells were ringing. It was evening time, I think 6 o'clock.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yeah, but then later on, he found out that this is not the right spot. So then he decided he will go back to Frankfurt and start in Frankfurt.
It's amazing. For those of you just joining us now, we're here with Mrs. Gertrude Koch, the wife of the Peter Koch, who is really the father of the church in Europe. And we're hearing this testimony of how he found his faith and traveled to first the Netherlands and then to Germany, laying condition after condition. I mean, I don't know how many of us can imagine, certainly the missionaries watching might be able to imagine, but to come to a continent and be the first, the one, the only there. And it really forces the awareness that without God, without true parents, and without spirit world, what can you do? So we're hearing this story. He's now laying these conditions, and ultimately he found that he could set up the first church in Frankfurt, right?
Yeah. And he found his first spiritual son in Frankfurt, Reverend Rainer Vincent, I think 1964, maybe.
Which is also where you later joined. In Frankfurt, which is where you later joined in Frankfurt. So let's hear a little bit about you, Mrs. Koch. I mean, you've got, this is mid-20th century Europe. Can you describe the environment of your faith in Europe and how it prepared you to meet true parents?
Yeah, actually also I was prepared. I grew up in a Christian family, so we had a very religious life. We went to church and also prayer. So my mother actually taught me how to pray, and I always was searching also. And also I was in a way also critical when I grew up and became a teenager and later on. I thought really in Christianity something is missing because Jesus actually is the Son of God, so he wanted to build the kingdom of God. But we don't see the kingdom of God, so something is missing. So I was searching, and then also the whole circumstances at that time in the 60s, I felt, it's the world can be destroyed through the atom bomb, it's no problem. But then I thought, I think God will not let that be. So then I thought, yeah, who can bring the change? Actually, only the Messiah. So then I thought, if the Messiah is living, I want to find the Messiah.
So you had that kind of yearning heart.
Yeah.
And so then you're in Frankfurt, somebody meets you, and what was your experience when you met true parents, or you found out about Father and Mother and the divine principles?
Yeah, so I was invited to the center then through somebody who actually I met also in the Christian church, in my church. I met somebody sitting next to me, and then she started talking to me, and she talked about the international movement. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I would like to come to know that. And so she invited me actually to the center. There were also some difficulties to overcome until I could go there. And then I heard the first introduction. That was actually my husband teaching. And we called it at that time the three Trichter, I don't know in English. So that was the mission of Adam and Eve, and the mission of Jesus, and the mission of the second coming. And so then I felt I never heard like something like that. So they said, this is really special. I have to come to know more. And so I studied. In the beginning, I came quite often to the center. And because this really was touching my heart. And then when I heard chapter 2, actually, the fall of man, I felt, yeah, that is true. That is a fall of man. And Jesus couldn't bring that. So, but now the Messiah could bring it. And then we can overcome the fall. He will guide us. And so this really will change. We will build the kingdom of God in heaven and on earth. At that time, I thought.
Well, that's right. I mean, that's beautiful. It takes a lot of work, as we can see, but that's a unique perspective to really, as a Christian, to realize, we're building it here. It's not just for a select few, but that the work that Jesus wanted to come back to fulfill, that we're in that time. I mean, can you describe, Mrs. Koch, that the moment where if you remember, do you remember the moment when your internal light just, I'm sure you were already bright and prepared, but the moment you recognized the unique role of true parents?
I didn't see anything. I kept everything for myself.
So
I went home and was really thinking about it. And then, surely afterwards I was very happy. But first, it really touched my heart. I could not talk about it.
Wow. It made a big impact.
Yeah.
And so can you describe the faith of the early European members, some moments with true parents that you had together? What do you remember of those days?
Yeah, so I remember when true parents came in 1969, and they prepared the members also for the blessing, the early missionaries. So we all stayed together in one house in Essen in Germany. And my impression was really, they are our true parents. I felt this love for everybody, for all the members that came together, if young or old or anyhow. And we were, two parents were always eating. We were eating together. We did everything together, sitting on the floor, have entertainment. Two parents were singing for us. We were singing for two parents. It was this feeling, this was really two parents. They are our parents.
Can you remember a moment, maybe sitting with true parents? Maybe you're singing or father's talking, or what was it like in those moments? Because I know that you are the amount of spiritual. I mean, you the early members, we're talking about, not 3-day fasts or 7-day fasts, but serious conditions of prayer, developing your life of faith, and then to have these precious moments when true parents could be there with you.
It was the feeling like this is the kingdom of heaven. Such a harmony and happiness and joy and love was really circling among each one.
Beautiful. So having loved true parents, I mean, you've so many years, and seen them, served them, watched them, what character trait for you, what particular character trait of true parents really stands out for you when you reflect upon the way they've led their lives?
It was that I could see always true parents are serving, always public-minded, and really educating and helping all the young members. Actually, everybody was young. We didn't have many older members, only the missionaries, the early missionaries, they were already between 30 or 20 and 30 at least, or 30 and 40. But the other ones who came later were all young. So true parents were always really investing themselves. And they were thinking of really these young people, we have to build a foundation for the heavenly kingdom. And they were really enduring and patient, and and still I can see this quality in True Mother. I see this in True Mother. She is the same way also now, serving, giving love, have patience, and sacrifice. So that is,
that's beautiful.
I would say that, yeah.
Thank you. And okay, one last question. You've been doing this for so long. Tell me, when does one know that it's time to retire from a life of faith?
I have to laugh because you never think of that as you grow older, like I am now. But I always keep track, I always want to be informed. I want to know everything also what True Mother is doing, and I connect with that. I connect with brothers and sisters all over the world, because Austrian members, and they are also in the whole world. And I traveled a lot. I lived also 8 years in Korea and 11 years in Slovakia and 15 years in Austria. So and I traveled a lot, and you have this connection and knowing. Now I really feel now we can be the foundation is laid. The kingdom of heaven will be built. True Mother will be the one who is really bringing all the nations, bringing all the people together.
Ah, Jew. All right, one bonus question I'm going to squeeze in here. When we think about our younger members, or people just hearing about this for the first time, or even those who, are born 100 years from now, how do those people find their own personal, intimate kind of relationship? The first thing, when I met you, the first thing you told me was, true parents are my parents. And you didn't just say it, you said it with all of your heart, with total conviction and soft love as a daughter, like claiming them. And, some people that don't get the chance to meet, to walk, to talk with, to touch, and be close personally or physically with true parents, they might wonder, well, how can I? So many years later or so far away, how do I have that kind of intimate relationship? What in a simple terms, what guidance can you give us for those?
Yeah, if there is really a serious searching or heart to come to know true parents and God, then you are not only physical, you are also spiritual. So you have to start also a spiritual journey. So you have to connect spiritually and invest yourself. And this is the same with a relationship to God. If you don't invest yourself, also you will not experience.
Yes, beautiful, beautifully said. Thank you so much. You know, you've in just with short notice, you came on our show, and really appreciate that you were here to share your heart with us. There's so many more questions I have. I'm sure the viewers would like to hear more. Maybe we'll get you back to share more, but it's really a pleasure to meet you. And I know that our viewers are really grateful that you joined us here today. It's been very rich. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also to those of you watching, again, you still have time to write a comment. If there's something in this sharing that has touched you or brought you closer to True Parents, please chat a note of appreciation so we know how you're doing. And with that, I thank you again, Mrs. Koch. All of our love to you. And now let's go to some featured comments from our live studio audience. All right, first I see here from Hannah, the bravery and faith that is in the foundation of our movement is so inspiring, and the reason why we can all be here today. I'm humbled and filled with gratitude for the earlier members and their devotion. Thank you, Hannah. And one from Natasha. My parents both joined in Europe in the 70s. I'm so grateful for the amazing spiritual foundation that Peter Koch laid. Without him, I would not be here today. Get your head around that. That's a fact. And from Wayne, I'm amazed how True Father's love, trust, and encouragement to all the speakers moved them to work for heaven's desire to change this world. I see True Father's love upon their faces. Absolutely. Thank you so much for all of you who are watching and commenting along the way. It's great to get your feedback. And remember, we are on a journey with True Parents. So much to discover, so little time. And that's why we've got a bonus pack available for you. You can get lifetime access to all the episodes, plus too many bonus features to list right now, but you can hit the button below to find out more and get plugged in today. Secondly, I really want to draw your attention again to Mother's life on paper in this book. And I thought I might read something from this book today with you, and I needed to look no further than the cover. I'm actually going to read just from the cover. Listen to this. For the first time, I'm opening up a window into my life. I do so with the hope that the story of this life, lived in accordance with God's love, will inspire in others the same mission, passion, devotion, and dream. Thank you, Mother. So you can get this for yourself, for your families, your friends, your tribe. If you go to motherofpeace.com, go there right after the show and get plugged in. And I'd like to mention for tomorrow, those of you coming back, we're going to Asia, the land where True Parents' message blossoms from fertile soil. It's an excellent episode coming up for you from Asia. We've got our main storyteller. Our main speaker tomorrow is the very own Dr. Robert Kittle. And with that, I'd like to offer our thanks on behalf of Dr. Kim, our North America Regional Chair, and the whole team working on this project and all the contributors to this series. We really want to thank you. And remember this, no matter where you are, no matter your background or where you are in your relationship with God and True Parents, we hope with each episode to bring you closer and closer, deeper and deeper in a living relationship with God and the most faithful couple in human history, our very own True Parents. With that, I want to thank you for watching. See you right here, same time tomorrow. God bless you.